All right, there's the tweet and all that stuff. So we're back. We're back with VLR. Why? Why am I streaming this game again? Well, simply, I'm a silly little guy. And I forgot last time after I finished the game to read through all the secret files. All that effort I went through to unlock the golden file in every escape room. Oh, not that one. These. You see, I've got all the archives, doing them all on hard mode. But what I didn't do was read them, because I'm very smart. So that's what we're here to do today. I'm just gonna read them all. We have, oh boy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 16. Wow. Okay. You know, it's only like 112 or something of these to read through. Well, you already know why I'm not playing ZTD yet. Too late. Oh. Hey, Paranormal. And hey, PLP. Hi. Hi. Hey, guys. So, we've got 100 and... what was the number? Let me just do it on the calculator, because I'm a little bit stupid. That's hard to do in my head. 112. That's right. I did do it correctly. 112 of these to read through. So, here we go. AB room. This is where you play the AB game. It appears to be an elevator car. There are 6 AB rooms in the warehouse on floor A. From the left, they're referred to as first, second, third, etc. The interior of each room is identical to the others, with a voting device on the wall and a hatch in the ceiling. Ah, okay, so we're going through all of them. AB gate. This refers to the door of the AB room. Most elevator doors open horizontally, but this one opens and closes vertically. Most elevators also include a safety feature that prevents the door from closing if anything obstructs it. Oh, that's nice. These doors have no such safety feature. Oh, never mind. Each participant has a bracelet attached to their left wrist. If a participant breaks the rules or fails to fulfill certain conditions, a set of 4 needles in the bracelet will inject them with 2 chemicals in succession. There are only 2 situations which will cause the bracelet to come off. The person wearing it completes the game and escapes, or the heart of the person wearing it stops beating. Attempting to break the bracelet or attempting to force it off will be considered a violation of the rules. AI. AI is short for artificial insemination, which is a process by which eggs are fertilized without the use of a male organ. It's commonly used in the breeding of dairy cattle and pigs, but has also been... Oh, I'm being told that in this case AI stands for artificial intelligence, which is another thing entirely. What the fuck? Okay. Have a nice circle, circle, circle 1. Words 03 says before he leaves. There are a few variations. Have a nice trick, have a nice trap, have a nice trader. Okay. Quantum computer. A device built by Tom Kwan, a Boise, Idaho commuter. That's actually a lie. A quantum computer is a highly advanced... Oh, Quantum. Yeah, hilarious. Highly advanced machine that uses quantum phenomena such as superposition and entanglement to perform calculations. Let's say, for example, that you want to determine the prime factors of 5183. A Van Neumann-style computer, let's call him Paul. Okay, let's say, can I divide it by 2, 3, 5, and just run through the numbers like that until I got the answer. Mr. Kwan, on the other hand, the computer, not the imaginary commuter, would just look at 5183 and say, obviously it's 71 times 73. A traditional computer with n bits can only be in one of 2 to the n states at once, but a quantum computer with n qubits can be in up to 2 to the n states simultaneously. This means a quantum computer can complete calculations that are currently impossible. That's amazing, Mr. Kwan. Are you seeing anybody? Floor A graffiti. Someone has written 2 milkmen go comedy on the wall. I forgot how ridiculous that sounds when you say it out loud. On the wall in the warehouse on floor A. Presumably it refers to a pair of milkmen visiting a comedy club. The sentence construction, however, is obviously wrong. There must be a reason why. Page 2. Woohoo, we're 1/16 of the way there. What is the nonary game? It's a deadly game that 9 people have been forced to play. The official name is Nonary Game Ambidex Edition. As part of the nonary game, the participants must also play the Ambidex game or AB game. Nonary game rules. What is the purpose of the nonary game? To escape by walking through the door marked with the number 9. How do you open the number 9 door? You have to earn at least 9 BP. How do you earn BP? You go to the AB room, play the AB game. How do you enter the AB room? Next to the AB gate is a card reader. Just slide the designated card key into it and the doors will open. Where are these card keys? Behind the CDs. CDs nuts. Lol. Supplementary rules. Yeah, we've read this one a million fucking times. Pair solo. In addition to a number, each bracelet will say either solo or pair. Each color will have 3 bracelets, 1 solo and 2 pairs. The 2 people who have the same color pair the 2 people who have the same color pair bracelets will share the same fate and must vote together as one. A lot of this is just kind of like basic tutorial stuff. I don't know why this is in the secret files. Kind of weird. BP. This refers to the bracelet points. The number of BP you have will be displayed on your bracelet. If your BP is greater than 9, you can open the number 9 door and escape. However, if your BP drops below 0, then the needles built in the bracelet will activate. Ooh. Number 9 door. This door is found in the warehouse on floor A. Anyone with 9 or more BP can open the door and escape the nonary game. So in a sense, this door could be considered the ultimate goal of the participants. Once the number 9 door closes, after someone with 9 BP has opened it, there's no way to open it again. During his explanation, 03 said, the number 9 door, stay open more than 9 seconds. This is not strictly correct, however. The time period 03 is referring to is the time when the door is fully open. That means that if one takes into account the time when the door is opening and when it's closing, it is open for somewhat more than 9 seconds. Thanks for clarifying. I've got a blue raspberry, whatever the fuck they're called, Slurpee thing from Taco Bell. Well, I've got a little bit of it. Total lunar eclipse. At certain times, the sun, earth, and moon align in such a way that the moon is completely within the earth's shadow. This causes the moon to appear reddish-brown in color as light from the sun passes through Earth's atmosphere and reflects off the moon's surface. Incidentally, the game refers to a lunar eclipse on New Year's Eve in 2028, which is, or rather will be, an actual event. It will be visible only in the Eastern Hemisphere at 1652 Universal Time. I think that's what UT is. Soparil Beta. One of the drugs used by the nonary bracelets and an extremely powerful anesthetic. It is the first drug injected when a participant breaks one of the rules. This drug also appeared in Virtue's Last Reward's sister title, 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. It was created by Mr. H. Oh, I thought that was talking about the games was created by Mr. H. I'm like, is that like a pseudonym that Uchikoshi made up for himself, Mr. H? No, it's someone in the first game. Character. Who was the president of Cradle Pharmaceuticals and appeared in 999. He developed it by extracting and purifying an alkaloid from a variety of mandrake. That's cool. High usage can lead to some side effects, including severe memory loss. It can also be aerosolized and used as an anesthetic or knockout gas. Is that what the white smoke is made of? Like, canonically? Is it made out of aerosolized soparil? I mean, I'd imagine that's why they said they put this line here. H. Yep. Tubocurarine, one of the drugs used by the nonary bracelets, and an extremely powerful muscle relaxant. This is the second drug injected by the bracelets if a rule is broken. The tubocurarine is injected 9 minutes after the soparil. Of course it is. It causes the respiratory muscles to cease functioning, and the body perishes from lack of oxygen. Tubcurarine, nice. Because it's true, is a component in some of the poisons used by indigenous populations in South America who tip their arrows with poison when hunting. It can be counteracted with a cholinesterase inhibitor, but it's not clear if the nonary game facility has any of this antidote available. Yeah, it is. It is very clear. It does. ATOM, acronym for the Automatic Diagnosis and Analysis Machine. This device uses nuclear magnetic resonance imaging to examine and diagnose anyone put into it. It's similar to the MRI machines you might find in a modern-day hospital, only much smaller and more efficient. An advanced computer built into the device can automatically diagnose most issues and ailments. If the subject of diagnosis is already deceased, the ATOM can perform a virtual autopsy to determine the cause of death. Newspaper excerpt. Yeah, this is just part from the game. I don't know why stuff like this is in the secret instead of just like your regular files. In fact, it might still be. Yeah, newspaper excerpt. Oh. Except it doesn't have the writing for some reason. What? It's here in the regular file, but without the actual text? Okay, whatever. Pandemic. When an epidemic spreads beyond a certain area, it becomes a pandemic. Some historical pandemics include cholera, typhoid fever, tuberculosis, the Black Plague, and smallpox. Certain influenza outbreaks have also reached pandemic or near-pandemic levels of infection. In Spain in 1918, an influenza outbreak was said to have caused 40 to 50 million deaths. I'm all too familiar with that one. Powerful virus whose word-wide spread is an integral part of this story. You know what radical and 6 mean, if you want to know what radical and 6 mean, you'll just have to play the game and find out. Alright, injection gun. Powerful syringe that uses easily swappable vials. Swappable. There's a lot of a lot of typos in this. Kind of weird. Primary chromatic door. There are a total of 7 varieties of chromatic doors in the nonary game facility, one for each of the following colors: cyan, magenta, yellow, red, green, blue, and white. The primary chromatic doors will open at a specified time. Participants can see how much time is left until the primary door is open by pressing the buttons on both sides of their bracelet. Secondary door. Several conditions must be met for the group that enters the primary door in order for the secondary door to open. There must be 2 pairs of bracelets and 1 solo bracelet. The colors of all 3 bracelets must go together, the colors of all 3 bracelets must together form either the color of the door they are trying to enter or its complementary color. That's kind of hard to remember though, so look at it like this instead. Red plus blue equals magenta, green plus green equals magenta, green plus red equals yellow, blue plus blue equals yellow, blue plus green equals cyan, red plus red equals cyan. EU stands for erotic units. Wow, you weren't kidding. EU is a system developed to measure a combination of physical, emotional, and situational attractiveness. It ranges from 0 to 20, where 20 might be the Marilyn Monroe and 0 might be Gilbert Gottfried. Rude! For the curious, Danny Trejo rates 16 EU. Just being sexy does not guarantee a high EU rating. Not to be confused with competing systems of hotness or sexability, the EU system weighs a number of factors such as practicality, sustainability, emotional investment, and the bias of the observer. Women with high EU rating usually have mastered the art of the tease. God, game is fucking ridiculous. Grandpa videos? Deb. A collection of films that Tenmi OG has gathered. The content isn't really explicit per se, but they still aren't really appropriate for someone Quark's age. Dab. Damn, man's got 5 dabs saved up. That's crazy. I mean, I know you've been there watching at least a few of these streams, and you haven't dropped a single dab until now. But still, damn. Crazy. I should have some kind of like 10,000 reward, because I mean, I don't know what it would be. Maybe I'd just like do 2 dabs or something. I don't know, just something to save up for, so that someone can like save up for it and then flex the 10k or something. It's always fun. It should be noted that the term does not imply the videos contain grandpas or grandpa-like actors. Really now. Sigma's cat problem part 1. Sigma has a strange verbal and possibly psychological tic which causes him to make cat puns whenever he talks about cats. The cause of this behavior seems to be an experience he had a child. Oh, really? Did he now? The cause of this behavior seems to be an experience he had a child. When Sigma was in preschool, there was a deserted house near his school that everyone called the Cat Mansion. He'd always loved cats, so every day he would visit the Cat Mansion and give the cats that lived there some of his lunch. One day he realized that he could understand what the cats were saying to one another. A magical black cat appeared and told him that it had given him this gift in exchange for giving food to its fellows. But, the magical cat said, to be continued. Oh yeah, no, Jeff is just there as a meme. No one will ever save up for it. 1 million is impossible. I don't know, the sound alert shit is just kind of annoying to me, because people like... I mean, at least in bigger streams, people like to spam them. They can be fun sometimes, but... Not my thing. You can never tell anyone about your gift, the magical black cat warned. If you do, you'll be cursed. But young Sigma was so happy his newfound ability that he slipped and told a girl about it. So the black cat cursed him. His curse was to speak only in cat puns for the rest of his life. Fortunately for him, a magical white cat came along soon afterward, felt the curse was a little too harsh and lessened it, so that he would only talk in cat puns when he talked about cats. And they lived happily ever after. Phone. A device that converts sound into electrical signals and transmits them over a wire so they can be decoded and played back on the other end. It's useful for speaking to people who are far away. The invention of the telephone is generally credited to Alexander Graham Bell in 1876, but there is dispute in some circles as to whether or not this is the truth. In the game, there's a phone in one of the cabins. It can't call outside the facility, of course, but what if you try something like 5309 or 6969? Don't worry, I did. Other numbers might do other things, so give it a try. Golem. The golem is an anthropomorphic creature from Jewish folklore. Golems are made from clay and will obey any orders given to them by their creators without question, although they tend to take instructions very literally. Golem is created by performing a holy ritual, then kneading the clay into the shape of a person, chanting a spell, and writing the Hebrew word emet, truth, on the golem's forehead. Erasing the E changes the word to met, which is Hebrew for death. Doing this deactivates the golem. That's cool, actually. GOLM. One of the golems found in the Nonary game facility. He is discovered lying on the maintenance table in the golem bay. His product ID is GTMCMGOLM. He has to be referred to by the last bit, which is, of course, GOLM. Much to his surprise, this ends up being pronounced like a golem anyway. On a side note, CMGOLM stands for Golem Type Male Cockney Model Number Golem. GOLM. Whatever. Oh, we're at the Chinese room, which... the Chinese room is a thought experiment developed by American philosopher John Searle to contest some of the ideas about artificial intelligence. The experiment itself is explained in more depth in the game, but the general idea behind it is to pose the question, do intelligent responses indicate actual understanding? Searle contests that a computer could be programmed to respond intelligently to conversation with humans, so much so that it would seem to be human itself, but that it would not necessarily, or perhaps could not actually understand what it was saying. Of course, this raises the question, how can we know that human minds are not, in essence, Chinese rooms? Can we really say that we understand the things we say, or are we just simulating understanding? So deep, man. So deep. Turing test. The Turing test is designed to gauge a computer's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior, first developed by British mathematician Alan Turing. The test has 3 participants, a human judge, a human subject, and a machine. The judge engages in conversation with the human and the machine, and if the judge cannot determine who is the machine and who is the human, the machine is considered to have passed the Turing test. When Phi mentions that perhaps she and her companions have been captured to perform a test, she is referring to the Turing test. Supplementary AB rules, we know. Golem. An acronym for General Purpose Autonomous Labor Electronic Machines. Golems are robots developed and sold by an American corporation called Hephaestus Systems. Some of the units in this facility, however, have had their software significantly enhanced by Zero Senior. A portion of them have also been given ABT created by Zero Senior incidentally. Incidentally, ABT is short for Artificial Biological Tissue. Golem's story, the point. The gist of Golem's somewhat rambling explanation is that the center of thought doesn't necessarily have to reside in the body. In the case of the Golem, the self clearly resided in the mainframe and operated the body remotely. Since a self-aware robot could exist that way, he theorized, what would prevent humans from doing the same? If humans are actually being controlled by an outside force, then is there actually any such thing as free will? Wound 1. 4th intercostal left between the 4th and 5th ribs on the upper left chest. Stab wound, a wound caused by a knife or other sharp objects. Wound margin clean continuous. The wound margins are consistent with a stab wound. Wound angles, 1 sharp, 1 blunt. This is consistent with a knife wound. Most knives have 1 sharp cutting edge and 1 flat edge, which would produce this wound profile. What the fuck is this about? I'm confused. Wound 2. Wound cavity, the depth of the wound frequently. This will match the length of the blade used. Wound length, the length long ways of the wound left in the epidermis. Usually this corresponds to the height of the blade. Wound width, blunt angle. The width of the blunt angle of the wound. Usually this corresponds roughly to the width of the knife blade, allowing for elasticity of the skin. Okay. Coroner. Not to be confused with a coroner. A coroner is a government official who assists law enforcement by investigating the causes of death and dealing with the paperwork and logistics surrounding corpses. It can also be used colloquially to refer to someone who performs these duties, whether or not they are actually employed by the government. Okay. Autopsy. An autopsy is a post-mortem surgery that examines a body in detail to determine the cause of death and evaluate any diseases or injuries that might be present. It is also super gross. Okay. Luminol mixture. Luminol is an organic compound with a chemical formula C8H7N3O2. Thanks. When mixed with a hydroxide salt and hydrogen peroxide, it will glow blue when it comes in contact with blood and certain other substances. This property has made a useful tool in criminal investigations where it can reveal bloodstains that have been cleaned up. Keep this in mind next time you're contemplating how to deal with the neighbors listening to death metal at 3 in the morning. Okay. Bracelet 2. At first glance, Kay's bracelet seems different from the others. Specifically, it appears to be attached to his suit. Although the design is slightly different, it is not part of his suit. The bracelet is attached directly to his wrist, with the face looking out through a hole in his armor. Just like the other bracelets, it will only come off when he escapes or when his heart stops beating. Generalized amnesia. A memory condition where the sufferer retains knowledge such as such a language, another typo there, social common sense, and so on. The memories of their own past and personality disappear. Its cause is usually psychological, but in rare cases it can be caused by serious head trauma. Kay suggested that an extremely painful breakup might have been the cause of his condition, but generalized amnesia usually requires a much more powerful trigger than the breaking up with someone. In fact, a painful breakup often has the opposite effect. You want desperately to forget, but find that to be impossible, which leads to all sorts of other mental disorders. Or so the person sitting behind me says. Aha. Really now. Cooked food 1. Twice cooked pork. A Szechuan dish. It is made by pan-frying pork, cabbage, bell peppers, and green onions with dobanjang or chanmenjang for flavor. Paella, a Spanish dish where one cooks rice, meat, seafood, and vegetables, another typo, in a shallow pot, seasoned with saffron. Nasi goreng, an Indonesian dish made with pan-fried rice seasoned with sambal, another typo, kikap manis, and terasi. Schnitzel, a German dish. It is made by mixing together meat, flour, eggs, no space between the flour and eggs there, just a comma, and breadcrumbs, then frying the mixture in butter or lard. Jesus Christ, that is 3 typos. Well, all of them are just a space missing, but still, 3 typos in this one fucking screen. Lord, what happened? Why are there so many typos in this port? Weird. Cooked food 2. Yukjang. I don't know how to pronounce Korean things, sorry. A Korean dish. The process involves stewing beef, vegetables, namul, and powdered chili peppers together very slowly. The resulting meal is very spicy. Borscht. A Russian dish. Preparation is very simple. You just stew meat and vegetables together for a long time. The finished meal is garnished with beets and sour cream. That is not how you spell beets. That's the wrong beets, buddy. Amkagai. A Thai dish made by stewing chicken, chili peppers, ginger, another missed space, and nampula in coconut milk. Very spicy. Chef's pasta. Whatever the chef feels like making. Sometimes you don't know what it is until you take a bite. Sometimes you don't even know then. Okay. Have a nice blank 2. Word 03 says before he leaves. This time 03 is like spelled with the number 3 instead of a Roman numeral 3. Weird. Here are a few variations. Have a nice trauma, have a nice trace, have a nice trumpet. I don't get it. Free the soul. An emerging religious organization with a rapidly growing membership. Some figures claim the congregation numbers over 1 million in countries across the world. Originally, the organization called itself Free the Soul of Y, but later dropped of Y to become simply Free the Soul. The founder of the religion is known as Brother, and his true identity is a mystery. Only a small number of the highest-ranking members have ever seen him. The doctrine of Free the Soul demands that its adherents separate themselves from the world, free themselves of lust, and release their souls from physical bodies so that they can be purified. Its followers believe that they will be born again as a new race, and that the world will be transformed into a place of equality with no conflict or poverty. Considering how a peaceful world of equality with no conflict or poverty usually plays out in the movies, they seem like a pretty scary group of people. Dab, dab, dab. 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 Another 6 in a row. He's going crazy. Oh yeah, paranormal. Your Patreon pledge went through the other day. So, whenever you feel like, just shoot me a message on Twitter or Discord or whatever. I'm assuming you did that for the what is it? The review request thing. So, you know, Feel free to message me whenever about what you want to do for that. We can talk out something something. Cock ass fucking dick balls Cleveland Steamer. This guy's crazy. He's crazy. Anyway, Myrmidons. Free the Soul is a powerful new religious order dedicated to establishing a new world order, and the Myrmidons are their elite frontline soldiers in that secret war. The general public knows nothing about the Myrmidons, but their actions have put them on watch lists of intelligence communities across the globe. Rumors say that all Myrmidons have the same face, suggesting that they may all be clones of a single person. No one knows where this rumor comes from exactly, but I can tell you that it's a very credible source. Brother. The founder of Free the Soul, although he prefers not to be referred to as such. As a child, he had a younger brother whom he was very fond of. Unfortunately, the worst happened, and the younger brother was murdered. Rage and despair filled brother, and for 9 days and 9 nights he was consumed by his own misery. On the morning of the 10th day, however, he had a revelation. Mankind was rife with base desires and needed to be purified so that a new world would come into being. God had spoken to brother and given him a mission. Brother dedicated his life to realizing that mission, and at the age of 26, he established Free the Soul of Y. He claims that Y is a symbol for miracles. Bracelet 3. Here's some information that isn't revealed in the game. Oh boy! The bracelet put on the left wrists of the 9 participants in the Ambidex game has an important feature that's never mentioned. As soon as it's put on, a needle on the underside activates and inserts itself in the wearer. That doesn't necessarily mean that it injects a drug, only that it activates and pierces the skin. Maybe there's something on the needle, maybe there isn't. All that's certain is that when someone puts on the bracelet, they get poked. I always get that and Outer Wilds mixed up. I forget which is which, but either way, that might be a bit much. One thing I've learned about throughout the process of the Danganronpa debacle, which I'm going to edit and release after my Pac-Man marathon is done. So just so you know, you probably won't be getting yours until after that one's done. So it'll be a bit of a wait. If that's cool with you, then that's cool. If not, feel free to, like, I don't know, just do like a refund or whatever. But I did want to let you know that. Because the Danganronpa one, obviously, I need to get to that before I do anyone else. Because, you know, that was pledged to me a good while back now, and it's long past due. But, you know, for the sake of continuing to upload and not like burning myself out, I talked to the person who pledged that, and they were cool with that, with the continued delay, so I can get some other videos out. But that'll be the first thing as soon as the Pac-Man marathon's done, and then after that I can get to yours. But yeah, I don't know about Outer Worlds. Let me look up. Is that the one that's like the New Vegas game? The one made by the New Vegas devs? Yeah. I don't know. That's like a big open world RPG that would take me God knows how many hours just to play, let alone write a script for and review. Danganronpa was bad enough, you know, it was like 30 hours, and I ended up writing a 90-minute long video for it. So I would like to not do something like that again, if it's not too much of a hassle. And again, if you're not satisfied with, you know, whatever you you know, with whatever choices I'm cool with, then again, if you want a refund for it, it's fine. Oh, okay. I mean, that's fair. I do still want to do one for you because, you know, that is a lot of money and I do really appreciate it. Um it would just be a lot easier if it was I don't know, something smaller. I also don't really play games like that, so I don't know if I could really say much about a game in a genre I've never played before. Like I've played an hour of Fallout 3 and didn't really care for it, so I don't know if I'm gonna have much good critical analysis to apply to that. Uh, AB Game 1. This refers to the Ambidex game. It's fair to assume that AB is short for Ambidex, but it also represents the two choices each player is given, A and B. A is for ally, B is for betray. When using the voting machine in the AB room, each player must use either ally or betray before the time limit is up. AB Game 2. A round of the AB game is played between the members of the group that went through the previous chromatic door together. The two members of the pair play against the single solo. Each party can choose to either cooperate or betray. The BP of each player will change depending on that choice. If you choose to ally and your opponent chooses to ally, you get 2 BP. If you choose to ally and your opponent chooses to betray, you get minus 2 BP. If you choose to betray and your opponent chooses to ally, you get 3 BP. If you choose to betray and your opponent chooses to betray, you get 0 BP. Penalty. If you break the rules or if your BP falls below 0, you will be penalized. More specifically, a set of needles in your bracelet will be activated, injecting you with 2 different drugs. The first is an anesthetic called Sopril Beta. 9 minutes later, this will be followed by a muscle relaxant called Tubocurarine. The muscle relaxant will cause your lungs to cease functioning, killing you. In other words, the penalty for failure is death. Voting machine. A machine used by the participants of the AB game to register their votes. It uses a touch panel and is not to be mistaken for an ATM. Hazmat suit. The manual found in the PEC contains the following text in reference to these suits. The air in this facility is kept at a very high pressure relative to the outside environment. This is to prevent air contaminated by the virus from entering. All persons wishing to exit the facility must proceed through the pressure exchange chamber. In order to prevent the spread of the virus and maintain a sterile environment, all persons entering the PEC must wear a specialized hazmat suit. Anyone not wearing a suit will be allowed to enter the PEC. I will not be allowed to enter the PEC. Scotch, a type of whiskey made in Scotland. Its unique aroma comes from the peat used in its manufacture. Scotch is Tenmyoji's favorite drink. He often claims a little scotch should scratch this itch after returning from work, which annoys Quark. Root beer float. A well-known drink made by putting a scoop of vanilla ice cream in some root beer, also known as a black cow. I've never heard that before. Quark is taken to saying, "Root beer floats my boat," which warms Tenmyoji's heart. We're halfway through. 40 minutes in. Floor A and Floor B. The facility has 2 stories. The top floor is referred to as Floor A, and the bottom floor is called Floor B. The A and B supposedly stand for above and below. There's a rumor that the floors were actually named after the particular Swedish pop rock group from the 70s, but everyone involved in this project has insisted that it is a vile and hurtful lie. What? Is that referring to ABBA? Is ABBA Swedish? I don't know. Researchers Journal 1. When the body is infected with Radical 6. Oh yeah, this is all this shit. Yeah. No, we know all this. And this was all part of the thing. Jumpy doll. It sounds like someone named a doll Jumpy, but why? The secret of Quark's hat. Oh boy. You think his hat looks kind of weird? There's that huge band that just wraps around his head. Is he hiding a pair of Ferengi ears? Or maybe he's just a young Lobot. What is a Lobot? Did you just make that up? Like the L is capitalized. That's not like a typo. Well, this is just between you and me, but he's got missiles in there. The sides of the hat are hiding those pods like you see on helicopters or SAM sites. Except these missiles are tiny, and when he gets in trouble, both sides of the hat open up and they just fly out all at once like psh. Just kidding. Actually, he just keeps snacks in there. Of course. Excelavir. An antiviral medication made to counteract Radical 6. More specifically, it's an antibody with a natural resistance to the virus. It was found and extracted from an individual in 2038 and then replicated using the IG replicator. An Excelavir injection is the only known way to fight off a Radical 6 infection. Treatment Pod. An amazing machine that augments an individual's natural ability to heal, strengthens their immune system, accelerates their metabolism, and can cure many otherwise incurable diseases. In addition, it can creation personalized medicines, perform gene theory. Subnautica? I don't know. I don't know like anything about that game. Aside from that it's you go in the water and explore. I'm not sure. I have to look into it a little more. It can creation personalized medicines, perform gene therapy. How did I read that as game theory? And even repair the effects of radiation damage. What an incredible machine. It's not that incredible if it can't cure Radical 6, you say? Yes, well, I guess you've got a point. But don't worry, it also has a function called cold sleep. Cold sleep uses cast freezing to freeze the entire body without damaging it. That way, even if the disease you have can't be cured, you can just be frozen until a cure is found. Survival horror game. Really? That's a survival horror game? Really? Never would have guessed that just from looking at it. Looks more like one of those kind of just like relaxing exploration games. Huh. Weird. Cold sleep. There are generally two types of cold sleep. The first type involves lowering your internal body temperature. This reduces your basal metabolic rate and induces a state similar to hibernation. In other words, your body is still actively functioning, just very slowly. The other sort of cold sleep is the one in this game. This involves freezing your body to essentially lock it in whatever state it was in. Until recently, this was impossible because the expansion and crystallization that took place during the freezing process irrevocably damaged human tissue. In the world where this game takes place, however, cast technology has overcome this hurdle and made cryonics a reality. The resuscitation rate is nearly 100%. Nearly? In fact, you'd be much more likely to die in a plane crash, which means that freezing yourself to visit the future is safer than flying from Tokyo to Milan. Okay. CAS. CAS stands for Cells Alive System. It allows organic tissue to be safely and non-destructively frozen. In this game, CAS is used to put people in cold sleep. It supercools the subject with a magnetic field and causes them to freeze almost instantly, preventing crystallization. In real life, the problem comes when you try to thaw something out, which also must be done instantly. In this game, however, the technological magic of the treatment pod makes returning from cold sleep possible. Woohoo! The past two nonary games. Okay. November 2018. 16 children were reported missing. In actuality, 18 children were taken, but 2 were never reported. The person in charge was someone we will refer to as H. The purpose of the game was to conduct experiments on morphic resonance with the children as test subjects. I won't go into the specifics here, but the short version is that this was the first nonary game. November 1st, 2027, a total of 9 people participated in this session. They were abducted, just as the children had been, but this time H was not in charge of the game. Clover was a participant in both games, and now she finds herself playing the nonary game yet again. Esper Resonance. In the context of this game, Espers are people with the ability to access the morphogenetic field. An Esper can increase the strength of their signal by being in close proximity to other Espers. assuming they are the strongest. Strongest signal will absorb any weak ones nearby and use them to amplify its own strength, sort of like waves. The biggest wave adds up the amplitude of the smaller waves to its own and covers them up. Nonary Veterans. The following 9 people were participants in the Nonary game that Clover claims to have been part of. 1. Ace, middle-aged man. 2. Snake, Clover's older brother, real name Light. 3. Santa, arrogant, uncooperative young man. 4. Clover, still Clover, just younger and with a jacket. 5. Junpei, hero of 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. 6. June, Junpei's childhood friend, real name Akane Kurashiki. 7. Amnesic detective. 8. Lotus, attractive programmer, has 2 daughters. 9. Kubota, skittish man, gets blown up. That's true, he does. He does get blown up. Neostigmine, a type of carbamate compound which acts as a reversible acetylcholinesterase inhibitor. Exciting the parasympathetic nerve. This allows it to counteract the effects of the muscle relaxant tubocurarine. It can be delivered with an injection gun like the one you see here. Ice 9. Ice 9 is a special form of water with a melting point of 36 degrees Celsius. In other words, it freezes at room temperature. The idea of Ice 9 was originally put forth by the American science fiction author Kurt Vonnegut. His version of Ice 9 has a melting point of 45.8 degrees Celsius. There's a rumor that says all the water in Alice's body is actually Ice 9. Who knows whether it's true or not, but if it is, then she has to always keep her body temperature above 36 degrees Celsius. H. This refers to Gentaro Hongo. He was one of the characters who appeared in 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. He was the person who supervised the kidnapping of the children who participated in the Nonary game in 2018. He's the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals and a devoted follower of Free the Soul. That's really interesting. I think the game briefly mentions that once, proper, outside of these secret files. Morphogenetic field theory. This theory holds that there is a sort of field where the forms, structures, patterns, etc. of everything in reality are stored. This includes abstract things like language, song, thoughts, inspiration, culture, customs, and ideas. Any information contained, transmitted, or created by matter is held in the morphogenetic field. In the Zero Escape series, people who can communicate by accessing this field are known as espers. If morphogenetic field theory is true, however, then it would mean that, in a sense, all humans are espers of a sort. Immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulin is an important part of the body's defense against viruses, bacteria, and other invaders. It identifies and neutralizes certain threats. The IG replicator found in the lab gets its name from immunoglobulin. Integer factorization. Factorization is the process of reducing a number to a series of numbers that, when multiplied together, give the original number. When taken to its logical conclusion, this will yield a list of prime numbers. For the purposes of factorization, 1 is not considered a prime. Example of prime factorization. 210 equals 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. 900 equals 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5 times 5. 107 equals 107. It's true. 2, 3, 5, 7, and 107 can only be divided by themselves or 1, which makes them primes. Tu fui ego eris. A relatively well-known Latin phrase. It might look like it's talking about a pair of sexy toaster waffles. But it actually means something like, what you are, I was, what I am, you will be. Sometimes used as an epitaph. The implication is that the person in question was once alive, like the reader, but that the reader will someday also be dead. A little ominous, I guess. SWAS. The Special Office of Internal Security, or SWAS, is an elite intelligence organization under the jurisdiction of the DoD. They investigate potentially disruptive or dangerous elements, such as domestic or foreign terrorists, radical political splinter groups, and religious organizations with extreme agendas that could pose a threat to the state or their citizenry. Their stated purpose is to maintain peace, but their charter authorizes them to arrest, detain, or even kill. Scary. Prisoner's Dilemma. Apple and Banana committed a serious crime. Oh yeah, this was in the game proper. Antimatter bomb. This bomb uses the energy generated by the collision of particles and antiparticles. So how does this work? Phi explains. Imagine two types of matter that are exactly opposite, like male and female. When they're combined, what happens? According to quantum theory, their numbers add together to make 0, like 1 and -1, and they kind of disappear because they cancel each other out. They call that annihilation. But when they collide, they create something like a baby, except the baby is sort of pure energy, a lot of it. So in other words, an antimatter bomb makes an exploding baby. Does that make sense? Detonator. This is a device that will detonate an antimatter bomb. Technically, it's called a remote triggering detonation signal device, but that takes a really long time to type out, so we'll just use detonator. This particular device has two modes of operation, immediate and delay. Pressing the switch when you're less than a meter away from the bomb will trigger the immediate mode, and the bomb will detonate immediately. If you're more than a meter away from the bomb, however, pressing the switch will activate delay mode, and the bomb will explode 30 minutes later. Cybernetic arm. A device originally created to weaponize genetically engineered psychic bears? Just kidding. It's actually an arm augmented for online sex chat. Not really. In truth, it's the arm from a mysterious libido-powered robot. I'm just messing with you. A cybernetic arm is actually a mechanical limb that you can control with your mind. Really. It has titanium alloy for bones, and those are covered with ABT, or artificial biological tissue. The ABT even has an artificial nerve, so you can feel pain through it just like a real arm. It has veins that connect to the rest of your body, so if you inject medicine into a cybernetic arm, it'll flow to the rest of your body. Luna's necklace. The necklace Luna is never seen without has a cage containing a bluebird hanging from it. If you twist the key on the bottom, it plays music. Someone special gave it to her as a gift, and she says it reminds her of the following lesson. Search for happiness wherever you can, because the search itself is what will make you happy. 3 Laws of Robotics. The 3 Laws of Robotics were created by science fiction author Isaac Asimov and play a large part in his robot series. They are as follows. A robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey the orders given to it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. Later on, Asimov also developed another preceding rule known as the zeroth law, which first appeared in his story Robots and Empire. The zeroth law of robotics. 0. A robot may not harm humanity or by inaction allow humanity to come to harm. Clearly, the zeroth law has priority over the first 3, so the first law would have the unwritten addendum, except where this would conflict with the zeroth law. Whether or not 016 was aware of this law is unclear, but in any event, 016 did act in accordance with it. Huh, yeah, that's true. You know, now that I think about it, is there ever a point in the game where Luna chooses betray? I don't think there was. Oh god, here we go. Swimsuit. For some reason, Sigma, or perhaps the author, seems to be unnaturally obsessed with swimsuits. Why is that? Was he involved in a horrible swimsuit accident, now repressed in his youth? Did he have a crush in high school on a girl on the swim team who put her Olympic aspirations ahead of any possible romance? Is he just a perv? The world may never know. Password input device. This device can be used in an emergency to deactivate the antimatter bombs hidden throughout the facility. It doesn't really have an official name. Sometimes it's called the designated computer terminal, but sometimes it's just the input device. The device has a small QWERTY keyboard beneath the LCD display. On the top is a large black cable which can be attached to the bomb you wish to deactivate. Entering the correct password on the keyboard will stop the detonation. Antimatter reactor. In a general sense, an antimatter reactor is a system that generally generates electricity or some other form of power from matter-antimatter reactions. This facility uses hydrogen and antihydrogen. The reactions power a turbine which generates energy and powers everything in the facility. It looks like a gigantic octopus, but it's definitely not edible no matter how you cook it. Antihydrogen atom. A particular type of antimatter. Normal hydrogen atoms have one proton and one electron, but an antihydrogen atom has the opposite, one antiproton and one positron. In November 2010, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, issued a statement announcing that they had captured an antihydrogen atom. They claimed that they had gathered 38 of them, in fact, and managed to hold them in a special container for 0.2 seconds. Less than 6 months later, in June 2011, they managed to capture several more antihydrogen atoms and contain them for more than 1,000 seconds. Although the creation and storage of antimatter is still a difficult obstacle, these results suggest that antimatter reactors could someday be a possibility. That's cool, actually, like, really cool. TNT equivalent. TNT is often used as a reference point when discussing the power of explosive devices. Specifically, explosive power is usually described by tonnage. The amount of energy 1 ton of TNT produces is approximately 4.184 gigajoules. This means an explosive device with an output of 1 megaton generates 4.184 petajoules. TNT stands for Trinidad and Tobago? Ah, yes. Trinitrotoluene. That's it. It's one of the most common explosives, which is how it came to be a reference point. A kilogram of TNT has 4.184 megajoules of energy, but a kilogram of butter has 30 megajoules. Butter is some dangerous stuff. What? E equals mc squared. Einstein's famous equation. Put simply, it means that energy is equal to mass times the speed of light squared. It describes how much energy you'd get by annihilating matter with antimatter, a lot, but also carries the interesting implication that with enough energy you could theoretically create matter. What? Huh. 63 terajoules. The amount of energy you get by combining 350 milligrams each of matter and antimatter. You can get this number by using the equation E equals mc squared, phi. What do you get when you convert 700 milligrams to kilograms? Alice, 7.0 times 10 to the minus fourth, 0.0007 kilograms, phi. Then what's the speed of light? Alice, about 300,000 kilometers per second. If you convert that to meters, you get 3.0 times 10 to the 8th, or about 3 billion meters per second, phi. And what if you square that? Alice, 9.0 times 10 to the 16th, phi. And then if you multiply that times the original mass, you'd get 63 times 10 to the 12th, 63 trillion. Okay, we got 2 pages left. We're almost done. Floor B graffiti. Memento mori, if the 9th lion ate the sun. It appears to have been written in some sort of weird paint. Memento mori is a Latin phrase that translates roughly to remember death/mortality. 9th clearly refers to 9th, but seems to have been spelled wrong, likely on purpose. Why? Perhaps it's an anagram like the words on the wall in the floor A warehouse. If it is, what does this one mean? Hourglass. The hourglass displayed in the background is actually a 4-second timer. It doesn't have much practical use, except maybe for really impatient people. If you were at a restaurant waiting for your food to come out, for instance. Hey, how long are you going to make me wait? I've already flipped this hourglass 100 times. Technically, 100 times would only be 400 seconds, which is 6 minutes and 40 seconds, but saying 100 times is much more dramatic, and therefore much more likely to get a desirable response from the waitstaff. Gentle points. These are a measure of how much of a gentleman you are. What? Somewhere deep in the United Kingdom is an organization that tracks all gentlemen, determining their caliber based off an ancient and Byzantine collection of rules and guidelines. Every year, during the spring, a representative of this organization conducts a cursory investigation of each member's behavior, or at least appears to, and then awards gentle points based on what they saw. This following formula is used. Old ladies escorted across the street times top hats owned times puzzles solved times money given to gentleman tracking organization equals total gentle points. Uh-huh. Is that even a part of the game? I don't remember that word ever being said. Like, why is that here? Is it just there to be like a Layton reference? I'm guessing that's what it meant by like top hat and puzzles. I don't know if Layton escorts any ladies across the street, but I don't know. I haven't played it. Anyway, knife. A small survival knife. Oh, it's Dio. Okay. Well, he's not much of a gentleman. I don't think he's escorting any ladies across the street, so that's a 0. And 0 times anything is 0, so no matter how much money he shells out, he's not getting nothing. He's got 0 points. A small survival knife. It has Myrmidon stamped into the flat of the blade. Blade length 150 millimeters, base width 30 millimeters, base thickness 3 millimeters. There's blood on it, but whose blood? Floor B hallway locks. Several of the hallways on floor B use special locks indicated on the map by arrows. Blech. On the far side of each arrow is a lever. Pulling these levers will unlock the locks. Once this had been done, you can explore the entire area at your leisure. Principle of causality. The law of cause and effect, specifically that a cause must precede every effect. At the quantum level, however, things aren't quite as immutable. The principle of quantum superposition holds that any physical system, such as an electron, exists at least partially in all of its theoretical states or configurations, but when measured gives a result corresponding to only one of them. A classic example of this is the double-slit experiment, where light appears to behave as both a wave and a particle. One of the interesting implications of this is that, in a sense, you are influencing the past. By observing a system, you are defining the cause of an effect you witness, and in a way, altering the past. Normally, I would comment here that the quantum level is where shit gets real, but given the nature of this phenomenon, it seems like it would be more accurate to say that the quantum level is where shit gets unreal. Knox's 10 Commandments. Ronald Knox, a mystery writer from the UK, published the following as his rules for writing a mystery novel. The criminal must be mentioned early on. All supernatural or preternatural agencies are ruled out. No more than one secret room or passage. No hitherto undiscovered poisons may be used, nor any appliance which will need a long scientific explanation. No one with extrasensory perception or similar powers can appear. No accident must ever help the detective, nor must he ever have an unaccountable intuition which proves to be right. The detective must not commit the crime. The detective must declare any clues he may discover. The stupid friend of the detective, the Watson, must conceal nothing from the reader. Twin brothers, and doubles generally, must not appear unannounced. I'm trying to think of how many of these this game breaks. Well, the criminal, I guess, of this story would be free the soul. That's certainly not mentioned early on. Supernatural or preternatural agencies are ruled out. I mean, this game has, like, essentially has psychics in it, so I guess that one kind of doesn't count. No more than one secret room or passage. I don't know if there are any secret rooms or passages. "999 had one secret passage, the vent shaft that Seven used to find the kids in the first game. I can't think of anything in this game, so it passes that one. No undiscovered poisons may be used. I mean, if you want to stretch, you could say Radical 6 is somewhat like a poison. And also, Dio just has a random poison pill, but it's, not clear whether or not that's undiscovered. It could just be any, like, normal poison that we know exists. Nor any appliance which will need a long scientific explanation. I mean, this game has a billion of those. You've got the bracelet itself. You've got the doors. You've got the IG replicator. Plenty of other shit like that. No one with extrasensory perception or similar powers can appear. Well, that's off, you know. Again, Esper's. Yeah. I can't, I'm not sure about all of them. But yeah, that is funny. No accident must ever help the detective. Oh, jeez. Accident? I can't think of any, but wouldn't surprise me if that did happen. The detective must not commit the crime. Well, law. The detective must declare any clues he may discover. Well, I mean, he gets lots of clues from his ability to jump and doesn't exactly explain or even announce that to anyone. I mean, it announces it to the reader, but not the other characters. I'm not sure exactly what the stipulation on that is. The stupid friend of the detective must conceal nothing from the reader. I wouldn't really call anyone the stupid friend. I don't know if this game even has one of those. No one's really, like, stupid. I mean, Dio's kind of stupid, but he's also definitely, like, he's not stupid. He's just, like, an ass. And a crazy guy. Twin brothers and doubles generally must not appear unannounced. Well, no. This game has, like, clones in it. I don't know about all of them, but this game definitely breaks most of these rules. That's fun. Oh, now we have 2 pages left. I lied before, because I'm stupid. Sun, Moon, Star Key. 3 different types of card keys generally found in the safes in each room and used to open the AB gate. Without them, you can't open the AB gate to play the AB game, which means you can't gain BP. In other words, getting one of these cards is your first step in your escape. Well, that's not true. You can gain BP without a card if your opponent has a card and if they choose to ally. Well, that's not technically correct. The Sun key is used during the first round, the Moon key for the second, and the Star key for the third. Slingshot. An elementary device that uses rubber to launch a small projectile, frequently used by adolescent ne'er-do-wells. Can be used as a necklace, but this is not recommended. Test Site Mystery. The site in question was for a simulated manned mission to Mars held in the Nevada desert. On New Year's Eve 2028, the audio logs from the simulation contained a woman's voice, assumed to be one of the test subjects, saying the following. 6 of us are dead. Counting myself, there are only 3 left. I guess you could say I killed them. No, that's not quite right. Not just them. Not just these 6. All of them. All 6 billion. Most evidence seemed to suggest that this was the beginning of the Radical 6 outbreak and that the Nevada facility was the epicenter of the pandemic. Termite. A general term used to refer to the insects of the epifamily of Termitoidae of the cockroach order Blatodea. That's right! Even though they're sometimes called white ants, termites aren't even the same family as ants. They're in the cockroach family instead. Also, king crabs are in the hermit crab order, and the remora is in the perciformes order. What the fuck are you talking about? Dab. I'm not sure exactly what I would do there, but sure. Have a nice blank 3. He's typing. Word 03 says before he leaves. Here are a few variations. Have a nice trouble. Have a nice tragedy. Have a nice trust. Conjunction. A term used in positional astronomy. Put simply, it means that two celestial bodies appear near one another in the sky. When used in the context of our solar system, it often refers to a position where a given celestial body is aligned with the Sun. For example, when Mars is on the opposite side of the Sun from Earth, it is considered to be in conjunction with Earth. Mercury and Venus, which orbit closer to the Sun than the Earth does, have two types of conjunction. When they are hidden on the other side of the Sun, this is referred to as superior conjunction. When they are lined up on the near side of the Sun, this is called inferior conjunction. Oh, God. Tenmyoji's picture. This is a photograph that Tenmyoji was holding. The subject is a girl named Akane Kirishiki. Akane was one of the people who appeared in this game's sister title, 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, as a childhood friend of Junpei, the title's main character. In 999, she was 21 years old. This picture was taken 9 years before then, when she was 12. Look at the left side of the picture. If you look closely, it almost looks like there's a man grinning in the background. Do you see him? Don't worry if it seems a little strange. A spirit medium has told us that the person in this picture is a guardian spirit who's looking after her. He must have shown up here because he'd heard what sort of destiny she had in store and decided to see how she was doing. What are you fucking talking about? A man grinning in the background? Well, I can't see behind the text. Let's see if there's a picture here somewhere. No, not that one. No. Minkowski space. A way of describing reality that adds a fourth dimension of time to the 3 dimensions of space. It was described by German mathematician Hermann Minkowski, and therefore bears his name. It's also the name of a ski resort for miniature cows. Really now. Lagomorph. The scientific name for the order to which rabbits belong, and 03's actual name. That first part I did not know. Tenmyoji and Alice. When they were split up with the red, blue, and green chromatic doors, Tenmyoji told Alice that there was something he had to tell her. That something was, of course, his identity, and that he'd already knew all about Alice and Ice 9, and not because he'd heard about it from Clover. Oh, shit! That's why Tenmyoji's always talking about how he trusts Clover. Because she killed him in the first game, along with everyone else. Of course. I guess he just didn't really remember that timeline. Tenmyoji and Clover. After the second round of the AB game, after going through the purple and green doors, Clover, as a solo, was heard to say the following to Tenmyoji, her opponent. What the heck did you mean with all that? It's not fair. If you're telling the truth, then I... So what had Tenmyoji said to her? The same thing he'd meant to say to Alice, of course. He told her who he was. That simple fact shook Clover's resolve and made her to vote ally. It probably hadn't been his original intention to betray her, but after thinking about Quark's safety, he probably felt he had no choice and picked betray. Oh, the murdered rabbits. That makes sense. But why would... Oh, no, right. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, why would the zeros of this game know about that? Because that was Junpei and Akane's thing. But then I remembered Akane is one of the zeros, along with Sigma. So, yeah, of course she would know about that. AB project. A can stand for after and B for before, but they can also stand for anima and body. Everything that happened in this facility was part of the AB project. The mystery of Phi. So who was Phi? There are a few clues scattered throughout the story, but nothing conclusive. Perhaps the truth will be revealed at the Nevada test site. Oh boy! Deactivation passwords. Here's a little something more about the bomb deactivation passwords. Those passwords, they aren't just gibberish. There's something hidden in each one. I can only give you one hint. +1. Good luck. There's a lot more to the story, but I think we'll stop at the secret archives here. Thank you for playing, and we hope you enjoyed the game. That's cute. +1, huh? Maybe these are phone numbers? If you turn the letters into their corresponding number on a phone and put a 1 at the end, you could call them or something? Am I right? That would be my, like, first guess. I'm guessing this was some kind of, like, mild ARG type thing to drop some more hints towards ZTD. You don't know? Really? So, like, was this never discovered? What do you mean? Well, you sure make it seem like you do. Damn. Well, that's it. It wasn't that long. You said it would be an hour and a half at least. It was an hour and 15 minutes. All right. I just want to get the new thing off of there. Well, there we go. I'll do a little save just to get my hours on the file. Just why not? Excuse me. There we go. Game's good. These extra files weren't quite as exciting as I thought they would be, but it was still a nice time going through and reading all of them. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.